Fox 8 News is New Orleans' fastest growing evening news. Fox 8 Local First starts now.
Hurricane Zeta ripped through Louisiana, making landfall with wind speeds just 1 mile below what would have made it a Category 3 storm.
Now people are left cleaning up a mess. Good evening, I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Kim Holden. From the sky, you can start to take in the scope of the damage that Zeta left behind. At least 2 people were killed. Governor Edwards toured hard-hit areas of Louisiana today.
On the ground, people spent today clearing away downed trees which crushed cars and damaged homes and power lines. Many roadways are still blocked. Meantime, more than 400,000 Entergy customers are without power tonight. CLECO says nearly 53,000 of its customers are waiting for service to be restored, and 1,600 customers of the Washington St. Tammany Electric Co-op are without power.
For some, restoration could take up to a week. Sabrina Wilson joins us now live with more on Entergy's efforts to get the electricity back on.
Hey there. At last check, about 395,000 customers were without power. Now, Entergy is urging patience as it works to get the juice back on. The sunny, crisp weather seemed like a gift after a night of Zeta. Hundreds of thousands of Metro New Orleans are without electricity despite Zeta's brief stay.
I'm just turning my lights on. That's all I know. I just need my lights.
Entergy says the bulk of the outages are in New Orleans and neighboring Jefferson Parish.
Most of the damage we've seen is related to vegetation. So trees falling on the line, limbs falling on the line.
Charles Walker watched from his front yard in River Ridge as utility crews replace utility poles done in by Zeta.
I was afraid that that was going to hit that lady's house, but I think what stopped it, they had a guy wire on it.
And being without electricity has caused him inconveniences too.
And without power, it's hot, can't sleep. You know, I sleep with a CPAP machine, I can't use it, so it's hard to sleep.
On North Dupree near Orleans Avenue in New Orleans, a utility pole straddled the street and so did its wires.
If you see a power line, if you see any line down, you have to assume that that line is energized. Be safe, stay away from power lines.
Near Bayou St. John, Rex Poling cleaned up around his house. Indoors, there's no electricity.
And I was here for Gustav and it was miserable. This is actually kind of nice. Good cleanup weather.
We are in the process of assessing and restoring.
Philip May is president and CEO of Entergy Louisiana. He says they have 5,000 crews working to restore power and make repairs to infrastructure.
That's a process of the most customers we can get on the most quickly. So we will be in a process of repairing those areas that can get on 5,000, 6,000 customers at a time, and then we'll collapse down to where the smaller numbers of customers to get on.
And Entergy urges people cleaning up their yards to be very careful because there could be danger under the debris.
There may be lines that are under that debris that you don't see that are also very dangerous.
Now, Entergy is getting help from some out-of-state utility crews. It also notes that Zeta caused power outages in some neighboring states. Reporting live on Earhart, I'm Sabrina Wilson, Fox 8, Local First.
Sabrina, people who live in South Lafourche are trying to pick up the pieces today.
Yeah, Grand Island, Galliano bore the brunt and traffic was snarled most of the day on Highway 1. Rob Masson has more from Golden Meadow.
A flooded Grand Isle and much of Highway 1 going down to the island, causing cars to back up here at Golden Meadow much of the day, a town where cleanup is well underway. For some, the road back will be more difficult than for others.
We was crying, we was very depressed, and we was just literally watching our whole 2 years of work go down to nothing.
The Romero family says they were caught off guard by Zeta's power as it ripped away the roof of their home and business.
Our daughter's a cancer survivor, and that's why we opened this, to try to make money.
Their roof landed across the street where Kenneth Melanson was running for his life.
And it shifted, and I was in it.
And when it's shifting like that, the back wall come off. I jumped out, got out the door, and ran to my boss's house. So I'll save myself.
It was scary. It was. I wasn't expecting it to be this bad.
And my stepson was screaming and crying. He didn't want to die. He literally was. Because, you know, when you in a building and the wind is shaking so much and it literally sounds like your roof is about to cave in.
Though many families have little of their homes left, the Romeros say they feel fortunate.
Oh, we're very happy. We're very happy to make that.
But many challenges lie ahead because of Hurricane Zeta.
It's hard when your whole life savings goes to nothing, you know? It really is.
From Galliano, Rob Manson, Fox 8 Local First.
Lafourche Parish emergency officials are still working on damage estimates, but they say hundreds of homes were damaged and thousands are still without power.
Leaders in both Jefferson and Orleans Parish are concerned about sewer station backups while the power is out. They're asking residents to produce as little wastewater as possible.
When you go into your home and you take a shower or you do laundry, all of that wastewater that leaves your house needs to travel to our treatment plants via lift stations. We have 500 lift stations throughout the parish that are powered by energy. We do not have backup fuel service for all of those lift stations. We enlisted our emergency contract to bring out both the backup, the diesel pumps, as well as 18-wheeler trucks to come out and actually physically push that matter through.
Jefferson Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang says excess wastewater being pushed to the lift stations could cause sewer backups if the waste can't be pumped through fast enough. Well, the cleanup continues in Metairie and businesses make do with the circumstances. Garland Gillen has that report.
Here in Metairie, many are without power, but the cleanup is well underway and businesses are getting very creative.
Tree fell down. Oh man, I was like, oh geez, here we go. I'm not prepared. I don't have my generator. We don't have no power. And now the tree fell on my vehicle, so I was a little intimidated. I was like, man, next time I'm gonna get better prepared.
We had the food truck, our pizza food truck that we've had. We usually put it at different places around the city, but you know, we need it here today, so we set it up outside to be able to sell slices to, you know, whoever wants to come up and buy some slices. You just have to be prepared. And we've been fortunate because we did do well through COVID. We did, you know, takeout and delivery, but, you know, unfortunately a lot of restaurants didn't, and they're still suffering. And, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, you just have to go in and adapt to what, you know, is in front of you.
The sporting world is also affected here in Metairie at Country Day. The goalpost has been ripped into many pieces. Their game against West St. John tomorrow on campus will no longer happen. They're looking for a makeup date. In Metairie, Garland Gillen, Fox 8, Local First.
All right, since the power could take days to restore, officials are already making plans for the election.
They say many polling places and clerk of court offices don't have electricity right now.
So they've identified already the polling places without electricity, the clerks of court that don't currently have electricity, and the registrars of voters who don't have electricity. And those are going to be priority locations. And as we get closer to Tuesday, obviously a determination is going to have to be made whether they're going to be able to power those locations back up or not. And that has to be done in advance of Tuesday far enough so that if it can happen, that the voters who would typically vote at those locations can be given instructions to vote elsewhere.
Early voting ended Tuesday, but Entergy says it could take up to a week to restore power in some areas. Governor Edwards says when the storm made landfall, winds were 1 mile per hour under a Category 3.
Zeta likely made history.
Chief Meteorologist David Bernard joins us now with some perspective on the storm.
And we're going to be talking about this for a long time, and there's a lot more facts and figures to get out here. But I thought we'd just start by taking a look at Orleans Parish, and I'm just centering it over New Orleans to kind of provide some perspective that way. Obviously, if we broaden it out to Terrebonne or Pearl River County, we get a different result. But these are all the storms where the center line has passed directly over the city since 1850. And it doesn't happen that often that it works out that way, thank goodness. And this year alone, we had two. Cristobal went over New Orleans East, and then Zeta came in from the southwest across Jefferson Parish. What are some of the strongest storms that have crossed over the city? Well, it kind of hasn't happened. The 1947 hurricane theoretically went across the West Bank, although I would argue it went over the West Bank of New Orleans. The 1915 hurricane went across Kenner, and Katrina was a little bit farther out to the east. So it's a rather unusual occurrence. Speaking of an unusual occurrence, look at these statistics. Zeta is the second latest hurricane landfall in Louisiana. The record remains Hurricane Juan that hit today on this date in 1985. So Zeta missed the record, or tying it by 1 day. What about the entire United States? This is the strongest landfall this late in the year for the United States since the 1899 Halloween hurricane in South Carolina. And last but not least, look at this. Until Zeta hit, only 3 storms this strong have hit the United States so late in the year. Again, that Halloween storm in 1899, the Yankee storm in 1935, they called it that in Florida because it came from the north, and Kate in 1985, also La Nina year, the same year that we had Juan. Here's what's left of Zeta. It's just a big rainstorm in the northeast, getting ready to head out into the North Atlantic. Here are the 50s over North Louisiana, guys, and they're coming here in the next few hours as our next cool air surge is on the way. More about cold fronts and less about the tropics in a few minutes.
We like that, seeing a few. Yes, please. Governor Edwards toured the damage Zeta left behind today.
He says most deaths occur after the storm, and he urges everyone to use generators and chainsaws safely and treat every downed power line as if it's live. The governor says there are currently 22 state roadways that are closed due to water or debris.
I'm encouraging everybody, if you need to be out and about, please go to 511la.org. You will get real-time information about road conditions and whether certain highways are closed. DOTD crews are out assessing damage across the highway system in southeast Louisiana. There could be additional closures. And inspections of bridges are occurring as well.
The governor reminds drivers that all intersections that don't have working traffic lights should be treated as a 4-way stop sign.
In Slidell, trees landed on some vehicles, blocked roadways, and snapped power lines.
I was looking out the window, and them trees were bending. It was coming in gusts, though. You know, it would bend and then it would calm down and it would do it again.
At least one home was damaged when a tree fell on it, and some power poles fell on camps and homes on Old Spanish Trail. Crews got to work today clearing the debris. A loss of power during Zeta means many people in St. Tammany and Lafourche parishes need to boil their water before using it. A boil water advisory is in effect for all Tammany utility customers who are on the Briarwood Terrace water system. All Lafourche Parish residents who live south of the Leontario floodgate in Golden Meadow also need to boil their water before using it to cook, drink, or make ice. The advisories will be lifted when testing shows the water is safe to drink.
Several school districts announced that classes will be canceled again tomorrow. The list includes Jefferson, Orleans, St. Bernard, St. Tammany, St. Charles, and Hancock County. Head over to Fox 8 Hurricane Center on our website or your Fox 8 News app for the latest updates.
The damage in St. Bernard Parish is extensive, with neighbors reporting hundreds of fallen trees. More on the start of what will be a long cleanup operation coming up.
Plus, the storm left one person dead in Mississippi. We'll have more on the impacts there.
An even bigger cold front coming next week. Are we talking about 30s? We could be. We'll talk about that right after this.
People in St. Bernard Parish have to be off the roads by 10 o'clock tonight because of the extreme conditions left behind from Hurricane Zeta.
Yes, Natasha Robin reports there's a lot of damage from fallen trees and power poles.
The damage across St. Bernard Parish is extensive. The majority of the parish is without power. When the strong wind from Hurricane Zeta came through here, it caused power poles to lean and fall. Some were snapped like twigs. Power lines still cover some roadways. You can see transformers knocked over onto the ground. It was a rough afternoon and evening for people who said it was scary when the wind kicked up.
We heard a loud crash in the backyard, and I had a 35-foot palm tree. It fell on my patio and crushed it. And the next thing you know, we heard this. We heard an explosion in the front. We come out, and they had water spilling out through the main onto the house. And I helped them turn the water off, and it was scary.
I just heard a thump, and he started running to the back. He says, just go run to the back, run to the back. And that's all. I didn't even know the tree fell until I looked out the door, and water was squirting all over.
Trees are down all over. In some cases, big trees were ripped out of the ground. Some fell into houses. Some fell onto power lines. Debris was left everywhere. Metal street signs were twisted up and fell over. Businesses all along Judge Perez, St. Bernard Highway and Paris Road were damaged. The roof ripped off of some. We saw some buildings that partially collapsed, and the strong wind ripped the back roof off of today's catch and sent it flying to the front over power lines.
It seems like the wind must have got underneath this roof, and this roof was just replaced Monday. They finished it up, and you know, when I say the roof, it took the rafters and all off. So it wasn't a bad roof job. It was just Mother Nature just blew too hard, and I guess the fasteners couldn't hold it. That's all, and it peeled it off, threw it up into these power lines above our head.
Parish workers are continuing to clean up debris and clear the roadways. Tonight, the sheriff's office issued a strict curfew for St. Bernard Parish starting at 10 p.m. They say it's just not safe to be on the road with these extreme conditions. In St. Bernard Parish, Natasha Robin, Fox 8, Local First.
The city of New Orleans says it activated its emergency debris contractors. They will be in the city starting Monday. If you have large tree limbs down, you're asked to put them on the curb, but make sure they don't block any pedestrian or vehicular right-of-ways.
What we really ask citizens to do, if you are fortunate enough to only have small twigs, branches, and leaves down on your property, please bundle those small branches, 4-foot lengths or less, bag your leaves. You can put up to 6 bundles of tree limbs or 6 bags of leaves next to your regular garbage cans.
Garbage will be picked up on its regular schedule starting today. The city is also urging neighbors to be careful of downed power lines. If you see one, of course, do not touch it. They ask that you call 311 or Entergy for help.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast from David Bernard.
This weathercast is going to be 98% good news. That's pretty good, right? Yeah, maybe let's say 99% good news. Let's start with the NOLAweekend.com forecast. Oh boy, cool sun and 68 tomorrow, 70, sunny and nice on Saturday and Sunday. What about this evening? It's going to cool down pretty quickly. We're going to drop into the 50s before long as another surge of cooler air comes in. Look at the 24-hour temperature change, and you can see that surge moving across the state. 21 degrees colder in Alexandria right now. Here are the actual temperatures: 60 in Lake Charles, 61 in Macomb, and that cooler air is coming across this evening, and you're definitely going to notice it. What about for tomorrow? It looks like a great day tomorrow. Temperatures in the 60s. There might be a cloud or two early in the day, but I really think we're going to see generally mostly sunny skies. But that's it for highs. Temperatures in the mid and upper 60s. You'll need to probably have maybe a light sweater, something like that, or a light jacket. What about low temperatures over the next week? This is for the city, all right? So 50s going into Friday, Saturday. Little warm up Sunday, warm up. Our average low is 58. Look at this, 40s into the city next Tuesday morning. Now, what do you think is going to happen for us north of the lake? Oh, boy. There it is, the first 30s on the map for the season. 38 Tuesday morning. Don't see a frost or a freeze right now, but stay tuned in case that trend changes. And you can see otherwise mostly in the 40s for lows. Our average low north and west of the lake is 54, and we'll be at that on Sunday. Looking at the tropics this afternoon, what's left of Zeta is now moving off the east coast at 55 miles per hour. Viper is showing some rain over the northeast, and that's about it. Peak wind gusts, these are just the reports we have so far. 104 at Bay St. Louis, 105 Golden Meadow, Bayou Bienvenue, 112. We had 94 here at Fox 8. Here's the 1%. A new depression likely forming in the Caribbean, 60% chance. No indication that it's a threat for us, but we'll watch it. It's way, way, way down to the south, and it's getting really way, way late. All right, temperatures as far as highs for the next 7 days. Our average high is 77. Another push of cool air on Monday and Tuesday. Look at that, with highs in the 60s. So great fall weather is ahead. I mean, it's here to stay. It looks like this time. Maybe a little warmer next week, but let's enjoy this week. 40s and 50s for lows. There are those 30s on Tuesday morning. Great weekend ahead. I told Shelly and Liz at 4 o'clock, guys, I said, I don't know, there might be a cloud in there somewhere the next 7 days, but I'm not putting it in today. Not doing it. We're just doing sun all the way across the board.
I like that.
I like that.
Will you add a cloud tomorrow?
Nah.
Tomorrow's Friday. You definitely
No,
shouldn't do
I
it
mean,
then.
there might be a cloud tomorrow, but I left it out
There you go.
because I just thought, I don't want to see that.
We do appreciate the cooler weather because neither of us have AC at our house.
No
so
power.
No power, so
Yeah,
thank you.
We all appreciate it.
Although-
Thank you, David.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, crews are working to clean up around the city after Hurricane Zeta takes aim at southeast Louisiana. How City Park fared during the storm.
And businesses in Mississippi took quite the hit. We take a look at the damage off the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
In Mississippi, residents and business owners didn't waste any time starting the cleanup process.
Yeah, Juan Kincaid spent the day in Waveland, where some hope to have power back soon.
You don't have to look too far to see that Hurricane Zeta didn't play favorites. She left the Silver Slipper Casino with a heavily damaged roof. And on the property behind the casino, boats and tractor trailers were turned on their side. Some contents, though, were not. As you can see, the sun is out, the breeze is going a little bit, but things, all in all, are pretty normal back at the beach right now. But there are some reminders all around us, particularly right here, that less than 24 hours ago, Zeta was packing a real punch. North Beach Boulevard here in Waveland was met by a 9-foot storm surge. And when you combine that with extremely high winds, you can see where Zeta left her mark. Further south, near Beach Boulevard in Bay St. Louis, the river wall wasn't spared either.
Wind damage, I think that's where we're seeing all of the trees that are coming down because of the wind. I mean, we've had gusts that were, I know, well into 120, 130.
Residents in Waveland, Moss Point, and Bay St. Louis woke up with the same headache today, and they're all blaming Zeta for downed trees, ripped up roofs, blocked roadways, and the power supply that's been completely cut off. For how long, nobody knows for sure.
I've heard anywhere from a couple of days to 3 days for some places and up to 3 to 4 weeks for others. Nobody really knows till they assess the damage.
Gary Beglia owns the Knock Knock Lounge here in Waveland. Yes, he has some minor roof damage, but it's the toppled snowball stand that took Zeta's biggest punch.
It reminded me more of Camille than anything else. You know, I went through Camille in 1969, and it was a little stronger, but at times this was scary.
Still, he expects to have his bar back open by tomorrow. He'll have water and electric thanks to a generator. But until power is restored in the area, the doors to the restaurant side of the Knock Knock Lounge will remain closed. In Waveland, I'm Juan Kincaid, Fox 8, Local First.
Thousands of southeast Louisiana residents are still out of power. How much longer electric companies expect you'll have to wait for it to be restored?
Plus, overturned trailers crowded the highway in St. Bernard Parish after Zeta ripped through the area. We'll take a look at the damage there.
Entergy is working to restore power in the metro area, but it could take many days.
Yeah, Sabrina Wilson joins us live with more on the work to repair downed lines and snapped poles.
Says it's working as fast and safely as it can to restore power. Entergy says it has 5,000 crews assessing damage and making repairs to utility poles and damaged lines throughout Metro New Orleans. It says most of the damage is related to trees or their limbs falling on power lines. Around the city of New Orleans, people are cleaning up, and some who haven't had their electricity restored say it's not bad given the drier, cooler weather that followed Hurricane Zeta.
Nothing to it. Stayed for Gustav, and it was off for 4.5 or 5.5 days. So I'm hoping this is a lot better than Gustav.
Typically, after a Category 2 hurricane like we just experienced, it's about a 7 to 10 day outage period for 90% of our customers restored. What that means is 90% of our customers will have their power back on before that time period, but we continue to encourage our customers to be patient.
And Entergy urges people to use caution when they're outside cleaning up debris because it could have live wires under it. Reporting live from Earhart, I'm Sabrina Wilson, Fox 8 Local First.
Residents in Algiers wasted no time starting the cleanup process. People were out with rakes, leaf blowers, and trash bags, gathering debris and putting it on the side of the road. Most people on the street fared well with just power outages. A few big trees fell, but it didn't hit any people, homes, or vehicles. Residents we spoke to say they're just glad Zeta is gone.
And I mean, I thought we were going to be okay because it was fast moving, but that fast moving and that wind, it was just cutting up really pretty bad.
This is my 50th birthday weekend and celebrating, and this is not how I expected it, but everybody's, safe, so that's what's important.
While residents hope the power comes back on soon, they do acknowledge it's easier to clean up and have no electricity in these cool fall temperatures. Well, Zeta was a Grinch. The storm took aim at City Park's popular holiday display.
John Snell checked out the damage.
City Park crews hit the grounds early, cleaning up Zeta's mess.
Given 100-mile-an-hour winds, it's probably what should be expected.
CEO Bob Becker says they lost 5 to 10 large oak trees, some of them 70 or more years old, and a bit of history. Some date back to FDR's 1937 trip to New Orleans to dedicate the Roosevelt Mall in City Park. On a happier note, the grove of giant oaks along City Park Avenue survived.
Some of them are hundreds of years old that are out there. They were here when the Native Americans were here and before them, so they're a real treasure.
The trees there got a trim around the edges as the storm scattered smaller limbs.
It's just dead wood. It's nothing to be concerned about.
Sam Neidhart is a tree enthusiast who on her trip to the park spotted a number of oaks leveled by the storm.
I believe that they're down because they were young. The oaks grow out, so it's hard.
Zeta also served up a reminder that hurricane season runs to the end of November. Tropical systems are not supposed to hit as we're getting close to the holidays. But in this case, Zeta also took a bite out of celebration in the Oaks. The storm mowed down some of the displays already in place and turned the popular pirate ship into a tangled mess.
I was like, oh no, this can't be true.
Steve Burney, who built the display, says all is not lost.
There isn't anything here that we haven't fixed already at least once. So we're going to give our best effort, and we'll get her up and sailing once again.
The City Park elves may need to put in a few extra hours to get the celebration ready in time. John Snell, Fox 8 Local First.
Leaders in Terrebonne Parish say the vast majority of people are dealing with downed tree limbs. Rilwan Balogan met a couple who just bought a home and are now cleaning it up after the storm.
Chainsaws, the hum of generators, and of course cars passing by fill the streets of most areas here in Terrebonne Parish as a lot of people spend the day cleaning up debris from Zeta. Now I want to point you to these residents here behind me cleaning up their newly purchased home here in Berg. The homeowners just purchased it last week, looking to downsize from their 4-acre home. They say they called it manicured lawns. They had that before this, and now of course debris scattered along their yard here. Now it's mostly debris scattered across the area. Parish officials say this is what the vast majority of residents experience from Zeta. There are about 100 reports of damages ranging from minor to significant, and the latter, I'm told, are mostly barns and sheds of that sort. Officials in the planning and zoning are surveying damages parish-wide and writing reports to send to GOSEP and FEMA to see if anyone is eligible for financial assistance.
So most of the reports that we've received so far are either roof top damages or power lines being down because of fallen trees or branches. So that's what we're going to focus on.
A couple times the winds were kind of strong. Other than that, we kind of just hunkered down and made the best of it. We usually leave. We just happened not to this time.
Parish officials say there are still a lot of power outages. We spoke with residents who say they don't expect to get power back for at least maybe 7 days. Reporting from Terrebonne Parish, Roman Balogan, Fox 8, Local First.
A portion of St. Bernard Highway that was used to shelter boats and campers throughout the storm season took a direct hit last night. As
Rob Krieger reports, the damage stretched for miles in lower St. Bernard.
Twisted metal, shredded wood, trailers tilted, turned, and tossed in triple-digit winds. Zeta's relentless fury was merciless along this open corridor just inside the floodgates in lower St. Bernard.
It was exactly like David Bernard said. It was like somebody hit a switch. I mean, it was steady. It wasn't no gusts, steady blowing.
Tony Cassiopa lives along St. Bernard Highway. As Zeta roared outside, he was bracing for the worst.
We were looking out the window. I was leaning on the wall of my house, and I could feel it rumbling. But steady. I tell you what, I wouldn't say never again. I'm glad none of this was in the front of my house because, I mean, you worry about that stuff blowing and hitting your house and coming in or whatever.
Outside, these trailers and boats more vulnerable than anyone expected as the tempest twisted camps and leveled livelihoods.
Obviously, there's that flood wall right there, so if you're on this side of the flood wall, you're supposed to be safe from at least the storm surge. But obviously, the wind didn't had no mercy on these trailers.
Dane Falgu is hoping to salvage whatever's left of his son-in-law's trailer, stocked with supplies for his bow fishing charter. Some can be saved, but the trailer is trashed.
It tumbled over. Yeah, because it was, like I said, it was on the shoulder there, and it must have flipped 2 or 3 times before it came to its resting spot right here. The roof's completely gone. It's pretty much gone.
He's not alone. For miles down St. Bernard Highway, some simply shifted, others upside down, and the worst, obliterated in the storm in a spot that was thought to be a safe haven.
A third of the trailers that are down here on this side are upside down. It's crazy. He's parked his stuff here for many storms before and never had an issue like this.
For the folks that rode this out, they're just thankful Zeta's punch came quick.
Look, it was scary. It was scary. And listen, that was only like an hour or two. To think that you would stay and endure that, there ain't no way.
Rob Krieger, Fox 8, Local First.
In Plaquemines Parish, 97% of their residents are without power.
But that didn't stop them from starting their cleanup today. Sean Fazan has more.
Because we don't know if any more is going to fall.
But right. There's a dead one up there.
Like many in the area, Belle Chase resident Nick Ciascio didn't expect Hurricane Zeta's impact to be so forceful as it approached southeast Louisiana.
The only thing I was concerned with was losing power. That's what I thought was going to happen, just lose power. I didn't think all of this was going to happen. 5:30, 6 o'clock was when it was bad. Yeah. We kept looking out the back. We were hearing stuff falling in the back, and then she hollers at me. She says, "Oh my God, come look out front," and this was laying in the street.
Now along the curb on the side of their house sits stacks of tree limbs and branches several feet high. It's all a part of the massive cleanup for Ciascio and other Plaquemines Parish residents just like him.
People, they're getting after it. They're doing what they got to do, you know. Fortunate I took off and got to Lowe's and was able to get a chainsaw. Thank God, because when I come out, I'm like, there's nothing I can do unless somebody comes and helps me. So I said, well, let me get.
Our people are resilient. They're tough. They'll help their neighbor. They'll do everything. They've been through Katrina. They've been through Isaac. So we know we've been through Betsy and Camille. So we've rebuilt, and we will rebuild, and we'll come back stronger.
So while most of the residents here don't have any power and a long cleanup is up ahead, the morale is good because they believe things could have been a lot worse.
It looks like everything's good as far as many, because we were watching them rolling off the house. Some of the big branches were rolling off the house. I figured this morning when I got up there, I'd have holes and stuff. We were kind of watching, looking up in the, looking for leaks and stuff. But
we're definitely blessed.
We lucked out.
And now they're moving forward with Zeta behind them. In Belle Chase, I'm Sean Fazan for Fox 8 Local First.
Emergency officials warn everyone to watch out for down lines because they could still be energized. A man in New Orleans was electrocuted by a down power line last night near the intersection of Dublin and Strelitz and Gertown. A witness tells Fox 8 that a transformer blew, and as people came to see what happened, he saw a man come in contact with the live wire. The second death attributed to Zeta happened in Biloxi. The Harrison County coroner says a 58-year-old man was recording video at the Broadwater Marina when his car was suddenly surrounded by water. He called 911 around 7:30 last night, but rescue vehicles were not able to get him. The coroner says the man called 911 again, saying he was going to get out and swim. His body was found a few hours later.
Some who rode out the storm wanted to document the scary moments. Coming up, we'll take a look at what the worst of the hurricane from some of our viewers.
And you may be wondering how much longer your food will last without a working refrigerator. We'll tell you what's still good to eat.
David Bernard of the Fox 8 Weather Center. We're going to talk about the north winds coming in, and the good north winds, that means cold fronts. Your Weather Authority forecast right after this.
As Zeta roared ashore, people took to their phones to safely document the storm's impact.
Meg Gatto shows us.
When Hurricane Zeta hit, it brought with it wind speeds of 100 miles per hour or more in some places. Those high winds caused this barge to break free from its mooring. Cajun Way captured the scene in Port Fourchon on Facebook. In St. Bernard Parish, Twitter user Nikki Liu captured the powerful rain and wind associated with the storm. In fact, Zeta blew shingles off roofs, and in some places, entire roofs ripped from structures. Grand Isle not only took on flooding during the storm, after its Burrito levee breached, it also suffered significant wind damage, with structures destroyed and power lines down. The island, like so many other places, in the dark last night as crews worked to restore electricity knocked out by Zeta. Meg Gatto, Fox 8, Local First.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast from David Bernard.
We are now going to switch to some good news in the weather, and that's, of course, the change that everybody felt this morning when we woke up. Cool and dry air on these northwesterly winds. There's going to be a couple of cold fronts coming our way over the next week, so cooler than normal weather is here at least the next week, and hopefully we can get everybody's power restored within that time, although it may take a bit longer. This evening, dropping into the 50s, so it will get fairly cool quick. 24-hour temperature change, big change with that cooler air coming in compared to when we had the muggy tropical weather over us yesterday with the storm. Look at Jackson's 21 degrees colder than this time. It's 56 there. Macomb has 61. We're 67. And Lake Charles 60. Those 50s are sweeping in, and they're going to be here again in the next couple of hours. Look at tomorrow. Tomorrow is cool as well. Could be a cloud, but mostly sunny. High temperatures only in the 60s. You're going to love it. Now, what about low temperatures? This is for the South Shore, and our average low now is 58. I think low and mid 50s for tomorrow and Saturday morning, and then a little bump up Sunday, and then look at that. Upper 40s to near 50 early next week, and warming slowly back to normal, which is 58 by next Thursday. So for those of us on the north side of the lake, look at this. 40s on Friday and Saturday. 38 on Tuesday morning. Look at that. Mid and upper 40s Wednesday and Thursday. So a cool stretch, a real cool stretch is finally coming when we need it. If we go out into mid-November, it does look like it will turn warmer in the eastern half of the country with the cold retreating back to the west. But like I said, a good 7, 8, 9 days of below normal temperatures on the way. Here are the wind reports, or at least some of them we have so far from Zeta. 104 at Bay St. Louis, Golden Meadow 105, 94 here at Fox 8. The airport in Kenner had a gust of 71. More of these will be coming out over the next several days. Post-tropical Zeta is moving off the east coast. It's just a rainstorm in the northeast. That's it. Now we're looking to the Caribbean again. I got to show you guys this. Southwest Caribbean, 60% chance of depression over the next 5 days. No indication it's coming here. This will likely be down to the south, but it could develop into a pretty strong storm. High temperatures the next 7 days. There's our 60s tomorrow. There's the next front. Look at Monday and Tuesday, 64, 68 degrees. Even into next week, temperatures staying in the 70s where they should be. My goodness, it's going to be November after all. No rain for the next 7 days, and it may be pretty dry even into mid-November. Our 8 to 14 day outlook looking like it's on the dry side there. So Halloween, absolutely perfect. Cool at night, mild during the day. There may be a cloud early tomorrow, and there might be a cloud on Sunday looking at it. I might get Zach to put the cloud in later, but I couldn't do it. I didn't even want to put a cloud on there.
You're going to make Zach do your dirty work?
Yeah, you know what? If it's adding a cloud to the 7-day forecast on Sunday, then...
You don't have the guts to put in a cloud?
It's not that I don't have the guts. It's just that, you know what? I'm just looking forward. All I want to see is sunshine right now. After what we've been through, doesn't this look great?
It does.
I'd like to see
happy.
sun.
We got Happy David today.
We do have Happy. It's good to have Happy David.
Yes.
But can sun include like light bulbs working in your house, like electricity? That would be nice for.
Well, at least we've got the cool temperature.
Including us. All right. Yes. True. Thank you, David. Many people are using generators right now.
We'll have some tips you need to know to keep your family safe coming up. The Daylight gave a better look at some of the images of damage that we first brought you last night. The owner of a car parked on Oak Street had a big problem to deal with when a power pole between Dante and Dublin snapped. A transformer fell directly onto the car, the only car in that block.
Yet the transformer found the exact spot. All right, a safety warning about using a generator if you've lost power. Generators produce the odorless, colorless gas, which can be deadly. It's why a generator should be outside at least 20 feet away from your home or garage and also be downwind from open doors, windows, or vents. The State Fire Marshal's office suggests using a heavy-duty outdoor extension cord to plug appliances into generators. Also, never use a generator in rain or wet conditions. Keep a fire extinguisher nearby and install a carbon monoxide monitor in your home.
The storm left a number of trees down in Lafreniere Park, and because of that, the park's trunk or treat event, which was scheduled for tomorrow, will be postponed. Park officials say they are working to clear debris and restore power. They'll name a new date for the trunk or treat event soon.
You may be wondering how long your food will stay safe if your power is out.
We'll have the CDC recommendations coming up.
If you are without power, you may be wondering how long your food will be safe to eat.
Well, the CDC says the food in your fridge may have gone bad, but the food in your freezer is likely still good. According to the CDC, your refrigerator only keeps food safe to eat for about 4 hours after a power outage if you don't open the door. And if your freezer is full, the food is good for up to 48 hours if the door isn't opened. And if your freezer is half full, the time is reduced to 24 hours.
All right, for now, that is our news. Thanks for watching.
We will see you back here after Thursday Night Football.
With the Fox 8 mobile app, you'll never be without Fox 8 News. Sign up at fox8live.com for text and email alerts during breaking news and weather. Sponsored by the Fox 8 Storm Tracker, powered by Nissan.